Centre Block, one of the country's most recognized buildings. It's the crown jewel of Ottawa's Parliament buildings and a fundamental symbol of Canada. Designed in the Gothic Revival style by John Pearson, it's an architectural masterpiece. A combination of immense size and scope with painstaking artistry and craftsmanship. It's reminiscent of Westminster, and yet it's uniquely Canadian. Home to both Houses of Parliament, this building is often referred to as an icon of democracy. Now this historic building is closed, undergoing the largest and most complex heritage rehabilitation project ever undertaken in Canada. And that includes two ambitious additions: a sophisticated earthquake defense system and an underground visitor welcome center connecting West Block, Centre Block, and East Block. For these to happen, the front lawn of Parliament Hill has been turned into a massive excavation zone.
My name is Siavash Mohajer. I'm the Senior Director of Construction on the Centre Block Rehabilitation Program. My team is responsible for overseeing the construction activities on site. We provide oversight over our contractors and construction manager to make sure that we're delivering the project on time and on budget. So what you see behind me is going to house the future Parliament Welcome Centre. And once we are finished, we're going to reinstate the Great Lawn, and the look and feel of Parliament Hill will remain the same as it was before, but we're going to have this amazing new structure that's going to make Parliament more open, accessible to Canadians, and sustainable. Now, in the hole behind me that you see is about 23 meters deep. We've removed about 40,000 truckloads of rock out of the hole, and it's really going to integrate the Parliament Hill campus together. It's going to connect East Block to Centre Block to West Block and allow the safe movement of parliamentarians around the precinct, and at the same time give the public access to our amazing Parliament buildings. So once we're done and dusted, this will be covered up with the lawn. The Vox wall and the grand stairs that lead up to Centre Block will be reinstated. And it's going to look very similar. However, there's going to be very minor adjustments that we'll see, and it's essentially going to make a universally accessible pathway from the Centennial Flame up to Parliament Hill, and you'll see around the stairs, the stairs in front of Centre Block will be the entrance to Parliament Welcome Centre, and that's going to be the new entrance to Parliament. The Centre Block rehabilitation is very unique. The building itself is a heritage building. It's a symbol of our democracy, so we have to take great care to make sure we're not damaging the building. It's also sitting on very hard rock. And the rock is hard, but it's also layered. So it's hard to remove, but it's also hard to work with in that as we take it away, it kind of wants to flow into the hole. And as you can see behind me, we've got this kind of grid of anchors holding the rock back. So there are a lot of challenges, and the combination of all of these challenges are unique in the world. We haven't found any other project that has all of these challenges. It's essentially, we're trying to work within the limits of the building, the heritage fabric of the building, and on Parliament Hill, because it is a historic national site, you can't really build up. So what we have to do is build down, and that's the only way to connect the buildings.
Building down means digging underneath Centre Block. Excavating is one of the most complicated and technically challenging parts of the entire project. For a time, Centre Block will be held up by a network of over 800 temporary posts. Once excavation is complete, more than 500 base isolators will be installed. They will work as shock absorbers should an earthquake occur. It's an engineering feat that's never been attempted anywhere in the world. And it doesn't come without risks. For instance, what happens if one of the supporting beams breaks?
You always worry about that, but so what I would say is, like I said, we've brought in experts from around the world. We've checked our math a couple times, and what we do is we over-design those piles for the loads of the building. And in fact, typically they're in a cluster of 4, holding up a section of the building. And we've even designed for one of the elements of the 4 to fail, completely fail, and it would still support the structure. And what we're going to be doing is, as we excavate and remove the rock away, we're going to be bracing the piles to each other to give it that lateral stability. And we're going to have monitoring in place to make sure that we can identify any issues coming up and address them. But what I would say to that is the design has taken all of that into account.
The Centre Block project is part of a longer-term plan and vision to restore and modernize the entire parliamentary precinct.
About 20 years ago, we started doing this kind of, I call it the Game of Thrones. We had all these little battles around, started with small fit-ups and then larger and larger, and eventually the 2 big ones were West Block and the Senate of Canada building. And now we're here for the big battle. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that the government and Parliament can still function while we're doing these major rehabilitations. However, once we are finished and Parliament moves back into Centre Block, we're going to be able to provide a modern building for Parliament to function, but also provide a building for Canadians that's safe, sustainable, and universally accessible. And I think right now is the perfect time to bring all of this together and bring it to Centre Block and really make Centre Block flagship within the Government of Canada portfolio and for all Canadians.